postponed and 4 more Islanders in COVID protocols. We've got all the latest and more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I hope you had a very entry into the New York Islanders. We'll break down the Islanders returning their practice facility on Sunday as per the NHL's guidelines, and 4 players testing positive week. I think it was on Friday, and now a holding pattern as we wait to see if there will be any additional cases or whether or not the league will resume play. Their next scheduled game, at least of now, is set for Wednesday. So we all of Islanders' birthday today and a whole more all coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. If you have an Islanders, your email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. Also, follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles. And you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYRVSNYI. And we'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. I also do live tweet during all Islanders home and road games. Hopefully that will resume shortly on that. And again, follow us on Twitter to keep up to date on everything is Hatters. So we have got a lot to get to. The league, as mentioned last week, shut down everything until Friday. And no games. And then on Friday, they extended the holiday break. All the games that were scheduled for tonight, Monday night, postponed. So, again, the league, now that we know teams are not going to the Olympics, you have a situation where, you know, they have the 3 weeks that the league would have been on Olympic hiatus to make up games, and that's what the league intends to do. Now, obviously, there are issues there, including the fact that you have arena conflicts, because originally, you know, most of these arenas are not hockey-only arenas, and whether they have NBA teams, college basketball games, concerts, conventions, business meetings, there are always different things. You know, Nassau Coliseum used to have the boat show every year, for example. There are always things going on at these arenas. So while there are now 3 weeks where the league can reschedule some of these games, it won't necessarily mean that they have all of those dates open in order to do so, and we have to keep an eye on that. But now the February break, where there was not going to be any hockey, looks like we will have some hockey, and it becomes a question of where and when they can schedule things. So the way the NHL had everything set up was that players would return to practice facilities on Sunday, the 26th of December, and that was a day earlier than originally contemplated by the scheduled holiday break, but that was to provide testing, and the Islanders did return, I believe, around 2:30 Sunday afternoon, and lo and behold, 4 more players positive for the New York Islanders surprise, surprise, all four of them are players who are a big part of this day-to-day Islanders lineup. All four of them forwards. The Islanders now have Anthony Beauvillier, Cal Clutterbuck, Zach Parise, and Oliver Wahlstrom, all in the NHL's COVID-19 protocol. Obviously, all of them either testing positive or being close contacts upon their return from the holiday break. Now, the NHL did make a move over the break, and they are reintroducing taxi squads, which will give teams a chance to put players, have them with the team. It's what the league did last year when COVID was a much, when they were much more restricted by COVID, when there were few or no fans in the stands, when, teams were only playing the other teams in their divisions. They had a taxi squad. Well, the Islanders have now assigned 3 players to the taxi squad, which the league reintroduced over the holiday break. So 3 players on the practice squad, or the taxi squad: Cole Bardreau, Simon Holmstrom, Grant Hutton. And what you see is a nice little mix there. Bardreau, more of a veteran guy who can come in, give you a couple of games in a pinch, play well, get things rolling for your team. Holmstrom, more of the younger guy, and Hutton sort of in between, a guy who you hope will develop and will be able to fit in to the team and get a little chance to showcase what he can do. And obviously now, with 4 more prominent forwards, I think you realistically have someone from almost every line. Wahlstrom was getting ice time with the top line, Parise, the third line, Clutterbuck, the identity line, Beauvillier, the second line. Seems like every line is now affected by these 4 players being in COVID protocol. And that's not going to get it done. And when you think about this team is missing right now, Beauvillier started to play a little bit better as he came out of that 1-game benching that Barry Trotz gave him. He has full 8 points in 24 games. It's been a disappointing start to the season for Bo. Clutterbuck, 5 goals in 26 games, leads the team with 104 hits thus far this season. Parise, 1 goal, 6 points in 26 games. Wahlstrom, 8 goals, 15 points. That places him second on the team. 7 power play points. That leads the team. And he is first on the team in shots on goal. So this is going to be another juggling act for Barry Trotz and the Islanders. We will talk a little bit about that juggling act, how the absence of these 4 players in particular will affect the team. And we will also discuss the upcoming schedule and what lies ahead. We've got that. We've got our Islanders birthday of the day and a lot more to discuss right here on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. This holiday season, grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, or even better than a candy bar. Built Bar is filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat, and high in protein. You get the best of both worlds. It's delicious and healthy, and so many flavors you'll have a hard time choosing. Will you have raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream, or peanut butter brownie? And look, Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down those mall doors and battle all the holiday shoppers as you try to return the gifts that you got that you really didn't want. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something to keep you going. So throw one in your jacket or purse, because you never know when you're going to need it. Want to cozy up with something warm this winter? Well, here's a little secret. Dip your Built Bar into a piping hot cup of cocoa. Let it melt just a little bit and give your beverage a bit of that Built Bar flavor. Plus, you'll have a nice melty Built Bar to go with it, but be sure to have a couple of extra napkins on hand. Like some of those marshmallowy treats around the holiday, you need to get your hands on Built Bar Puffs. They're light, fluffy, and marshmallowy through and through. different flavors, all covered in chocolate. Taste so good you won't believe they're filled with protein. Go to built.com right now. Use the promo code LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. So, as I mentioned, first of all, we have the 4 players who are out. And those are the new additions. Remember, Rollo and Matt entered protocols back on December 19th. So we don't know when they will be back. They have to be symptom-free and have a negative test. So is it day rule in effect? So December 20 would take us forward to 1910 days. Game that is still on the Island and the Detroit Red Wings at Robinson, but we do not know players most of the season. And Oliver Wahlstrom and shoot is a little bit better since his benching. But you know, again, here is a player who the Islanders, if they're going to get that, get on the plays, his slow start to this season. And, you know, the Islanders do want to have him ready. 26 games, just the 1 goal. That's a big disappointment. He's kind of on track for about a 3-goal season, a 3-goal and 15, 16-point season. But, you know, you got to figure by the end of the season, Parise's numbers will at least come closer to matching the back of his hockey card, as they used to say. And that means that, you know, he's due for some kind of a streak. He doesn't have that streak. Cal Clutterbuck, a heart and soul guy on this team. 5 goals in 26 games, which, you know, puts him on pace for about 15, 16 goals over the course of the season. He leads the team in hits. You're already, you know, dealing with the loss of the identity line's cohesion because they haven't been together between COVID and injuries and poor play. You know, you don't want to lose another member of that identity line. Yeah, you've got Ross Johnston available and Ross the Boss more than capable of filling in for a game or two. But, you know, Clutterbuck, in addition to playing physically and being kind of one of the glue guys on that identity line, he is also, you know, an alternate captain, a leader in the locker room, one of the guys you just don't want to have to lose off your roster, and an experienced player, and he kills penalties. And we know the Islanders need to kill penalties. It's something that they have, you know, actually been at their 9th league in penalty kill percentage at the break right now with an 82.4% conversion rate. So yeah, there are just a lot of things that look very disappointing for the Islanders is just team chemistry, getting guys together and getting your line combinations, having that chemistry where, you know, the thing about the identity line, for example, and we've talked about this on the podcast, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You put Cizikas, Martin, and Clutterbuck together because they know each other so well, because they have that chemistry together. They are able to play better when they're on the ice as a unit than any of the three of them would without the other two. You're going to lose that. I think maybe the Islanders' most cohesive forward unit in the playoffs, at least the last 2 years, although this year they've kind of all been struggling. It was Brock Nelson, Anthony Beauvillier, and Josh Bailey. Well, now you don't have Anthony Beauvillier anymore. And again, on a team that is struggling to score goals, losing Wahlstrom, losing Beauvillier, losing Parise, and losing Clutterbuck. These are guys that, Cal Clutterbuck this year has as many goals as Matthew Barzal and J.G. Pageau, 5. This is going to hurt this team. The only sort of silver lining to it all may very well be that every other team in the NHL is dealing with similar circumstances because of this Omicron variant and how quickly it does tend to spread. So the Islanders losing 4 players, but they are far from the only team dealing with these losses. Again, the Islanders game that was supposed to take place tonight in Buffalo postponed. We do not have a makeup date announced for it just yet. As of right now, the schedule looks like this. Next game on the schedule that hasn't been postponed, Wednesday night, December 29th, 7:30 against the Detroit Red Wings. The following night, Thursday, another home game scheduled against the Buffalo Sabres. That's also a 7:30 start. And then on Saturday afternoon, a home New Year's Day matinee, a 2 o'clock Eastern time start scheduled against the Edmonton Oilers. Now, do we have a situation coming up where teams based in Canada will be able to cross the border? We don't know yet whether that will be resumed, but again, waiting for announcements from the National Hockey League. And then the Islanders go on a West Coast and Northern Canada road trip starting on January 4th that will take them to Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary. Here is the bottom line. The Islanders have to understand, and the NHL has to understand, you want to get these games in. You don't want to delay the season. We've had 2 seasons that have not been held at the right time, so to speak, where they started late or finished early, resumed playoffs over the summer. But if you cannot play these games safely, if you cannot protect the players, cannot protect the fans, then, they've got to push them back. And, there's a lot of money on the table. I know that. I certainly, more than anybody, want to see hockey. This is what I do. I love watching the game. I love analyzing the game. And I love doing this podcast. But realistically, safety has to be the number one factor. And we'll see if the NHL handles this in the correct way. When we come back, we've got our Islanders birthday today and some more thoughts about the COVID situation and the Islanders' upcoming schedule. All that and more still to come on this episode of the Locked On Islanders cast. This episode is brought to you by your friends at BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the college bowl season and the pro football playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. So head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON, one word, to receive your bonus. So for listening to the Locked On Islanders podcast and using that promo code LOCKEDON, betonline.ag will give you a 50% welcome bonus. That's free money to bet on site when you use that promo code Locked On. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so don't wait to take advantage of the new amazing offers available. Bet online, where the game starts. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And today is the 50th birthday of former Islanders center Brian Smolinski. Smolinski, a first-round pick, 21st overall by the Boston Bruins back in 1990. He had 4 good seasons with the Michigan State Spartans, including a pair of 30-goal seasons, which is impressive when you consider they played 44 games one year and 40 the other. Made his debut with the Bruins late in the 92-93 season, went on to play for the Penguins and then the Islanders from 96-97 through the 98-99 season. Then went on to the Kings, Senators, Blackhawks, Canucks, Canadiens, and finished his career in the IHL at the end of the 2009-2010 season. For Smolinski, 1,056 career NHL games, so we got that silver stick, 274 goals, 651 points, 606 penalty minutes, 123 playoff games, 23 goals, 52 points in those games. And again, you know, his best season with the Isles was his first year, 96-97, 28 goals, 56 points in just 64 games. And that was by far, you know, his best year with the Islanders. We're going to go back and look at one of Brian Smolinski's better games with the Isles and taking a look at that. And I'll tell you, Smolinski really did justice to the Islanders that first season. Played effective hockey. And at some point, you know, he had great size. And the size factor was for him. Like, you get good performances from Brian Smolinski. We take back March 8th, 1997, Islander Fisherman disease at the net. Dunham, the goaltender from New Jersey. The Island have Tommy Sello in the pipe. For the 22nd years, he held the assists. Nothing. Todd Bertuzzi, Islanders lead, his 5th of the year. The assist to our Islanders birthday of the day. Brian Smolinski at 6:58, 2-0 Islanders. The Devils got back into the game, though, a little more than a minute after the Bertuzzi goal. Steve Thomas, his 11th. Bobby Holik and Scott Stevens, Islanders lead cut down to 2-1. But our Islanders birthday of the day, Brian Smolinski, answers back his 21st of the year, and Nicholas Anderson and Rich Pilon with the assists at 11:48. 3-1 Islanders as they headed into the locker room after the first period. In the second period, the Isles add to their lead. Randy Wood, his 3rd. Another assist for Brian Smolinski, our Islanders birthday of the day. Time of the goal, 12:11. That made it 4-1. And then Palffy, his 34th from Travis Green at 15:48 of the 3rd. Islanders win this one going away by a score of 5. Tommy Sello, 28 saves in this one for Brian Smolinski. 1 goal, 2 assists. He was +3, and he scored on his only shot on goal of the game. So again, we want to wish a very happy 50th birthday to former Islanders center Brian Smolinski. He is our Islanders birthday of the day. As far as the Islanders are concerned right now, we want to keep everybody, try to be patient. I know this is difficult. I'm not enjoying the extended hiatus either. But again, safety has to come first. These players, their families, they're all people. They all, may have children or parents or grandparents or spouses who are vulnerable, who have pre-existing conditions. We don't want anybody's long-term health to be compromised. And hopefully this variant will run its course in the league. We'll find a good formula for continuing the season and continuing it soon. We will keep you, up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, both on Twitter and here on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Thanks for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets. That's your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And let's go Islanders.